Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today's October 27th, 2015. Boy, you just look around and you see the chaos spread every way you turn your head. From here in the U.S. to around the world, it's hard to stay on top, and I'm doing my best, and I'll continue to do so. But getting back to the issue at hand, this morning, all over mainstream news, when a story went out that 3 U.S. warships were 12 miles away from those little islands in the South China Sea. And I have an article in front of me from All News Pipeline covering that very subject, and it's titled, Major False Flag Issued, Threat at Level Alpha, World War III Now Inevitable, according to U.S. media. While we're happy to report this morning that the U.S. has sailed within 12 miles of China's artificial islands in the South China Seas without incident, as shared in this news story from The Guardian. We can also report that the government of China is not happy with what they call the U.S.'s illegal actions and has urged the U.S. to think twice about making trouble, and urged the U.S. to immediately correct their mistake. Despite the fact that no major events have happened as a result from the U.S. actions, the Next News Network, with their first video below, warning of a major false flag alert for the next 48 hours. And you guys need to check out the video. Go to the Next News Network on YouTube and just look at this video, because it confirms that this is a false flag being carried out by our own military. Obama sent the ships down there to piss off the Chinese and help further along the start of World War III. See, how I mentioned and how others have mentioned that Obama hates this country. This should be proof right here. He sent them down there. To get World War III started. And at the same time, we have wars going on here on our streets of America. There's battles all over. Socially, economically. You have class warfare left and right. Racial, economical, social. Continuing. In effect, it was clearly reached a new level of potential conflict, as shared in this Zero Hedge story, titled, Obama Sends His Destroyer to Chinese Islands and Vows Military Response. With China vowing a military response to the U.S.'s actions only days prior to 3 Chinese warships scheduled to be docking in Florida, we feel that something is terribly wrong, especially the recent warning from a top Obama official that a terrible accident may happen. And this is from the words of the Treasury Secretary of Jack Lew, saying that there's an accident for November 3rd or 5th to occur. You guys need to go watch that. It's rather informative. Don't take the mainstream, standpoint. This on YouTube. Search Jack Lew warning for November. That might prevent the debt ceiling from being raised and a default for the U.S. government. And I watched the video about that, and what Lew is pointing at, that if the debt ceiling isn't raised, between November 3rd and November 5th that the government is going to start using cash, and there's only 60 billion in cash. And it was also mentioned that on any given day, the U.S. government spends $30 billion a day. So you think things that's happening there won't happen here? Well, you better take a second look. Do some soul searching. Think. As Susan Ducklos clearly pointed out in this related story, titled Just in Time for Grid 8X3, governments of the world have long launched a false flag attacks upon their people, as stated by Hermann Göring, Adolf Hitler's Reichsmarshal at the Nuremberg trials after World War II. It's quite easy to get the people in line behind their leaders, merely by telling them that they are being attacked, while denouncing pacifists as having no patriotism and being soft in self-defense, while exposing the country to danger. China had promised that any intrusion into their territorial waters by any nations would be met with a response of force, and as this video clearly points out, any force used against the U.S. would likely be met with force in return, and an escalation of these events could quickly spin out of control. Seeing both that the China and the U.S. are nuclear powers, with China now being backed by Russia, we could be watching a nuclear World War III and nuclear annihilation for millions of Americans and other innocent people throughout the world in the near future, if a terrible accident does indeed occur. We can also see that this is not close to being over as seen in the second video, with the risk of serious escalation in Syria, where Obama is considering challenging Putin by sending ground troops into Syria. And from what I've heard, that's already occurred. There's already ground troops over there. So, yay America! Yay White House! Fucking piece of... Oh! Excuse my language, I'm sorry. In the third and fourth videos below, we learned that tension continues to mount in the South China Seas, and according to the third video below, from China, which is censored from YouTube channel, and there's a codex. You'd have to... It's a long one. I'm just going to leave it at that. World War III is now inevitable. In the fourth video from Fox News, we were given the reasons why things are rapidly heating up. And in the fifth, also from Fox, we learned that the alleged threat that Russia poses to the internet cables running underneath the ocean floor after Russian ships and subs have been seen patrolling the areas for the past several months. So there you have it. They're laying out the false flags to start off World War III. The time is upon us to be really prepared spiritually, mentally, and with the needs that you need to have. Emergency, get your go bags, your bug out go bag, whatever you want to call them. Get them prepared with all the essentials you need to ensure your safety, because the shit is gonna hit the fan. It's been hitting the fan, but it's been at a moderate pace to hitting the blade and getting spun around the room. But now it's ramping up even closer. So do what you must prepare yourself. That's all I have time for today. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please share my videos. If you wish to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at Truthbuster or Google Plus Truthbuster. And I'm still in the works of getting my new Facebook up and going. I just delayed it for various reasons. God bless and be safe.